Drifting through loss, we escape from the cost of the pain. The healing through years so obscured by the tears and the strain. But there's one-way street you're on. You'll never
Yeah, there's parts of the lyrics that have special meaning. There's things I can read in all lyrics that I get a certain amount of nostalgia from. Yeah, I mean, when I'm writing them, I go to a little place where I think about things. But if you sang them for 20 years, you tend to not think about it that much. But yeah, of course, when they're written, there's certainly a lot of meaning there.
What's As I Die?
Dying?
Special.
Special one.
It was written when we were touring. We were touring with Sepultura, and we were just backstage, and someone said, "Oh, you need to do some kind of EP," and we had no more material. So it was like, "Wow, what do we do?" And I think part of the chorus melody came from, we had a guitar tech called Scanners, and he used to play this terrible reggae music all the time. But he used to play this guitar line in a reggae, and I unreggae'd it. And part of me thinks that might be something to do with it, but yeah, that ended up a switch. We just wrote it backstage in somewhere like Hanover or something like that, and then recorded it when we got back, and it just became the best song ever written. Well, I think you can never say never about anything. It's certainly not planned or anything that we are thinking about at the moment, because you have to be totally into something. But you know, you don't know where life's going to lead you, what your influences are going to be. So, you know, could be jazz fusion, could be anything.
If you're doing it because you think, oh, let's do a host, and then it feels like you're doing it for the sake of it, then it's already failed. Because anything that you do for the sake of it, it's not going to work. And if there's no passion in it, there's no point in doing it. So it's like Greg says, it's impossible to say.
There already kind of was.
Yeah, there already is one.
There already is one for a certain period anyway, but it's something that's usually quite difficult to do because a lot of the albums are on different labels, and getting them to all agree, it's usually quite difficult. But we have done a collection, certainly of the Century Media B-sides.
It was B-sides and rarities, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
But it might not be all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said,
it's just getting the different record companies to agree is often quite difficult. But maybe in the future.
If it's an opportunity to remaster anything that needs remastering, then yeah, absolutely, because it always sounds better when it's remastered. Remixing is something else. I don't necessarily agree with that, but remastering for sure. And if that's an option to include sweetness, then yeah, I dare say we will include sweetness.
In 3 years, when it's 30 years old or something.
Yeah.
How can you not include the best song ever written?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Plus Feet, best song ever written.
Yeah. Often not at all. I don't even meet him. Don't see anybody at all. We just turn up in the studio and then there's just songs there. We just do them.
Yeah, we just bounce stuff backwards and forwards through online, you know, sort of file sharing really. I mean, you know, even rehearsing for me personally, I find it more productive to do it at home, you know. But I mean, you know, obviously we usually see each other a lot when we're touring and playing live anyway, so. But yeah, if we're playing touring for an album, then we will meet up to rehearse. But yeah, as far as writing goes, it's more about file sharing, and it's good to kind of contemplate things and listen to things more and take them in, as opposed to jamming in a room. It's not very productive from our point of view, doing that sort of thing. Never said that anyways.
Actually, that's my favourite PL album ever.
It's one of my top ones.
So yeah, we've never ignored it.
Really?
No.
I think maybe it means you don't play it in live. So
all right.
I Remain we've played live, and we've done Horizons Edge
Frailty as well.
once, but and Frailty.
We did Rise of Denial.
Yeah, we did Frailty for an entire tour once.
So you're talking bollocks.
It'd be quite nice to see Horizon's End in the set again.
Yeah,
But we keep changing it around, so you never know in the future. So.
I don't know, I mean, Similar Life, I could play that anywhere, we don't need to change anything. You know, I could do that anywhere. It's pretty much like 1 second in that respect. Yeah, I mean, we don't need to change any of them really to play them. I mean, it's just a case of making sure it's all, you know, sound like it does on the album, I guess.
The thing is, a lot of these softer songs sound a bit heavier anyway, because we're using the same guitar sounds that we do for all the heavier songs live, so they do work together better live maybe than different productions have done in the past on the albums. But live, it's like So Much Is Lost. It's really nice to something off the more recent stuff. So, you know, it works well, I think. But in the live context, when we're using the same guitar sounds, it sort of gels better, I think.
I mean, albums are snapshots anyway, so you shouldn't really. It's like Jimi Hendrix doing All Along the Watchtower 2020, even though it'd be hard for him to do, obviously, but heavying it up would just ruin it, you know. So, yeah, bollocks. Yeah.
It's in the eye of the beholder. It's impossible.
Don't want to think about
I felt pretty crap when I woke up today.
I only feel incredible when I'm about 3.5 pints in.
On stage.
Any more or less, it's kind
Bad
of,
again, yeah.
doesn't work.
That's the sweet spot.
Well, artwork-wise, I'll do the artwork bit. We had the choice of 2 pieces of art, and that was it, really.
The other one was a lot worse.
Yeah,
I can remember the other one actually.
we went to this guy's house, friend of Hammy's, and we were shown our options. And one of them was like a Boris Vallejo with spina bifida type painting. You know, it was like some naked woman with wings and a sword or something, but painted really badly. And the other one was this Nazi robot, which we ended up using. So
It was done by.
there wasn't much choice, really.
He worked. The artist was called Duncan Fregredo, and he worked on a 2000 AD comics, and he still does that apparently, or something along those lines. He's still very much doing artwork. So yeah. I mean, we just like Greg said, we had 2 choices. Like, well, that one. So, but I mean, you know, the style was. We did like the style, you know. But it had nothing to do with any of the songs whatsoever. It was just like, well, we like that picture.
And the album itself, I prefer the demo before it.
Yeah, the Frozen Illusion demo sounds heavier. But I mean, it's still, you know, the album is like Greg said earlier, they're all snapshots of where we were at that time. I mean, the production could have been different, but then the way it turned out is how it is, you know, so you just get on with it. But the Frozen Illusion demo that we did in the build-up to that sounded a lot more brutal.
The photograph on the back, I blow dried my hair the morning before that, like I did before this.
Like this morning.
Just to get that flyaway look.
Blow it off.
I had the worst hangover in that photo.
Yeah, I remember about the centre.
like trainers.
No, we never played it live. Usually when we do covers, it's because someone says, right, you need some extra tracks. And we're like, oh shit, what do we do? And I think the majority of covers over the last few years have been my memories of an old jukebox that used to be in a pub we used to go in. And just going through the list of songs that were on it. Just different songs, and Spirit of Destiny, Never Take Me Alive was on, and it was a kind of pompous, big track, and I thought, oh yeah, we could do that justice.
We did it in the studio though, like pretty much on the fly as well, because we didn't even know. I think it was like we'd finished the album and it's like you need another song. So like when we did the Everything But the Girl cover, it was done very much on the fly. It's not lastminute.com, not the flight company. This maybe around
This year.
maybe around sort of early 2000. There was a bit of a grey area because there was a lot of stuff going on professionally and personally. But at no point have I personally ever thought I didn't want to do this, apart from when I ran off and tried to get a bus in Holland.
Yeah, it was like 1990 or something.
99, yeah.
So 2 years after we formed,
Then
Nick wanted to leave.
yeah, and then the bus didn't come anyway, so I just went back to the venue, did the gig.
You walked out of the rehearsal room once.
Yeah, I walked out of the rehearsal room as well, yeah, and then I came back anyway. But yeah, so they were just little tantrums. no, I mean personally, no, absolutely not, no.
Foolish trust, irreverent pain. Foolish trust.
Shadowkings about someone that was like a schizophrenic kind of scenario where someone's telling you what to do. I quite like the concept of having someone good on one shoulder and someone bad on the other, and they're kind of giving you contrasting ideas, like in old Tom and Jerry cartoon. That's where I've just spoke about that recently. That's why. But yeah, so that's what that's about. So
What was one of the other bits?
When shooting the video for Sage's words, was it a laugh to do because you didn't seem like you
That was the opposite of a laugh. Absolutely miserable to do. Hated it.
oh yeah, that's
Precocious little girl, or creepy nonce on a bike, and
We were just covered in mud, wiggling in a
stood
corner.
in water for ages, pretending that we were enjoying ourselves, and yeah, horrible. Not a laugh.
That was last time.
yeah, that was last time.
Your Sage's words of all.
Also, just words was even worse. We had to get covered in mud as well.
Yeah,
so
so
just wiggling in a corner covered in mud. But Nick was quite busy.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. I mean, Forever Failure was the most difficult one for me, but it wasn't fun to do. But actually, one of my favourite ones we actually did. I mean, you've got to think about the big picture, but yeah, I mean, sometimes filming it's it is hard work a lot of the time, but you just got to think of the end result.
Soundtrack Covey.
Isolate.
There you go, bingo. I don't know. I mean, yeah, hopefully, but I mean, we need to get on tour first. We need to get this year out of the way and get back to doing what we do. So it's
It's kind of difficult to even think about the next album while we haven't even toured this one.
yeah, we haven't played a gig for this year, so it's
Gives us a chance.
yeah.
Please.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all the things.
No, I don't care.
Nick decides.
It's about there's a lot of songs that people do want to hear again and again. And, even though we may play them 50 times on a tour, there's maybe people in the crowd only heard it once that year. So there's that aspect. And with the last sort of 10 years, we predominantly think about the album, so we try and play a lot of the new album. So and this one will be no exception. Once we get out there, we'll play a lot of the songs of this new one. So it's mainly around the new album and some old kind of classics of it.
Preferably prefer Disney. Lion King 3 or something. No, yeah, sure, absolutely. Getting into Hollywood these days is not easy. I'm not a spring chicken, and they like them young there, so.
Hans Zimmer's got it wrapped up anyway.
Yeah, Zimmer.
Does every film go?
Yeah, that'd be nice, but unfortunately, can't get in there.
Sean Bean.
Sean Bean to
Probably a bit expensive.
narrate it, yeah.
I don't know actually. It's sort of something to think about.
Is there a budget, Sean Bean?
No, forget it. No chance. No way.
Dave Bean.
Dave Bean from North Ireland.
Dave Bean.
Yeah, Sean Bean would be awesome, but yeah.
No, forget it.
Maybe he'll see this. If you're watching, Sean.
02.
Oh,
You can too.
Wait for Yorkshire.
We tried it. We tried it with varying degrees of success, and one keyboardist we got in didn't work out for various reasons. One, he got Nick in a headlock.
He beat me up.
Yeah, he did. Our keyboardist beat Nick up, so it didn't work out. And then we got
I'm not laughing at the time.
yeah, we got our guitar tech in to take over on keyboards, and it kind of worked.
For the drag time shows we did, I thought Billy played the keyboards worked really well. For those special shows.
It's good if you've got a big stage, but in a kind of club sort of stage, I don't think it looks particularly brilliant. I mean, obviously, if a band's always had the keyboardist, then fine, but if you bring one in, it's a bit...
And the last few albums don't even have that many
Yeah.
keyboard bits, so it doesn't really make sense.
I always think metal bands with keyboardists look a bit wanky anyway. No offence, all metal bands.
What we don't see, the agony, await the call, the sorrow.
Because I don't really like festivities, like Christmas, so I'm in luck this year, because probably won't be any. Also, I heard they cancelled the firework display, which is brilliant, I think. It's far too much money spent on those things anyway, and they're only good for about 10 seconds. So, yeah, I just don't like mass celebrations about things, and Christmas and New Year's Eve, I found them a little bit miserable in a way. I don't know why. I don't know what I'm expecting. I'm expecting more than I usually get from it, and I think it's fun for kids. You know, Christmas is nice for kids, but after that, it's just pretty rubbish, including New Year's Eve and all that bollocks. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's good.
Is there another version?
Really good, really good. I've heard it played in like nightclub scenarios. It sounds great.
Yeah, I think it's surprisingly, you know, we weren't sure how it would be, but it actually came out really good. Yeah,
It goes down well live.
yeah, live is good. Yeah.
Until tomorrow, cannot breathe, cannot.
Ones we don't perform live.
Each album usually has at least, well, probably about one track where it's not really geared towards live, it's more of a studio track. So any of those, really. I mean, I think you may disagree, but on the new album, Ending Days,
Yeah.
is a bit of a studio track. You know, and on every album there's usually one like that. And I think that's fine. You know, every track doesn't have to be geared towards being an upbeat live track. You know, you can do things that are moodier and things to listen to on headphones. You know,
A lot of it depends on the venues as well, because if say you're a band who plays arenas every single night, then you can have the same setup every night, and you can do any song from whatever you want, because you can make sure it's going to work. But if the size of your venues varies from night to night, sometimes some songs are just not going to work in that environment if you've got extra sort of instruments or whatever. So with those, how we tour, a lot of it is geared around just songs we can play blanket every single night. We're not too much struggle, so when we write, we have to think about that as well. But yeah, like Greg says, I mean, you know, if you want to do something a bit more symphonic or whatever, then that's obviously probably not going to be played live, you know.
We're all forsaken, reverence, mistaken.
I don't know who he is. What band's he in?
That's perfect.
Is he in Slang?
We're all forsaken, reverence.
I'd love to actually, but that's just me.
well, he can do one.
Yeah.
Just him and an acoustic guitar. I've heard him play acoustic guitar, so it'd be fantastic. Absolutely, straight to number one. Yeah. Rest of us, probably not. It was a Boss. Half the guitar sound was a Boss.
It
FZ2.
was a fuzz, wasn't it? There was a bunch of fuzzes
Is
there.
that a bloodbath question?
We've never used a H.
I think it's a bloodbath question.
The Boss
Right.
FZ2,
Yeah.
and it's an old fuzz pedal that was discontinued. And Gomez just had it in the studio and
DM2,
tried it out.
I call it a DM2 because I just don't know what it is.
But the classic HM2 pedal, we'd never use that. So.
Till the last kingdom falls to a shelter refreshed.
Yeah, obviously Dynamo, 1995. We always say that big one.
Donington 96.
Yeah.
Sao Paulo, was it?
The one in America where it started raining in through the roof.
Oh, the Detroit Blondies.
Detroit Blondies.
With
There's a guy
Morbid
doing
Angel
that.
in '93. Yeah.
Usually the really, really big ones or the really, really bad ones, and everything in between sort of just there.
Yeah, that one in Detroit Blondies in '93 where it was spotting Morbid Angel. There was rain coming in through the ceiling, so the owner of the venue put a rug on the floor to try and soak it up. So people just did like a moss ring of roses around the rug. So that's how I
Yeah.
remember that.
So yeah, there's the terrible ones are very memorable for the wrong reasons.
Please, Nick.
It was a confused.
Yeah,
Please, Nick. I want to know.
It's easy. It was a confused period of the band on many different aspects, and the bees represent confusion.
That's it.
That explanation's completely changed.
Although it's the best one. It's the best one ever.
Oh, it's the best one you've given us.
Well, you tried to make out it was, believing nothing, Bing was B in Swedish or something.
Oh,
but it isn't.
It's Bombus, isn't it?
No, it's something
I
called.
thought it was Bombus being.
I don't know, but you said it was that.
.25 1/2 I use 12 to 68s. Greg uses.
I use lighter gauge. I use 10 to 62 usually, something like that, or 64
I
sometimes.
thought there were 11s you use. Is it 10s?
10s,
Right.
because I don't like a wound at third string.
No, I'm thinking about dropping my gauge actually to 11s.
And 25.5 for live and 27 for recording, so it keeps its tune. I use it most of the time because I think all leads sound better with a wire on. Just my opinion. And Embers, I can't even remember doing it, so I have no idea. It might have been off the cuff at the time. No, it was a new tapping technique that I learned at the time, this double tap thing, and just worked out on that song. I've pretty much never used it again since. No idea why.
Fall from grace.
Yeah, Fall from Grace. Yeah. And Dark Thoughts was the last.
Didn't ask for.
No, but yeah, throw it in for it.
Yeah. There's a free one for you.
You can have that for note.
So you don't ask.
So I didn't want to know about that. That's good.
Yeah, I don't know, a couple. There was one that supported us in Ireland actually. The worst band name I've ever heard.
Well, something to do with owls, wasn't it?
Owl Crusher.
Yeah. They were really good
And I
actually.
bought the record on Bandcamp while they were sound checking because I really liked the sound check. So I thought they were really good. But yeah, just need to change the name.
I just literally think of an owl being crushed by like a
Well,
tire.
the cover is actually an owl being crushed.
By a tire or something.
Yeah. But yeah, really good band. I just heard one by a band called Jupiterian, which isn't that bad. Kind of sludgy stuff from South America, I think, Sao Paulo or somewhere. But yeah, I don't know. I tend to just like songs here and there, not really bands that much.
I always like to play new stuff because once you've recorded it, it's nice to see how the crowd react to it. And I mean, years ago, before the internet, the only time you know how they would react is when you got on the stage. I mean, obviously now you've got all the feeds and all the the social stuff, so you see how people like it or not. But yeah, years ago, it was always nice walking on stage and thinking, wow, this album gone down really well or not. But yeah, so always the new stuff for me anyway. I like going in. There isn't anywhere that.
There isn't a particular.
There's nowhere where we don't like.
Countries are good.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, yeah, there's not a bad one on planet really.
Come on, pick a country.
I like playing American.
Dreaming about touring.
Yeah. I'm dreaming about getting back to work. I'm building a new computer like the one in Superman. Is it one in Superman 3?
With Richard Pryor.
Yeah, I'm building one like that.
Gus.
Yeah, I'm currently doing that's my new project at the moment, so I'm sort of doing that in my spare
Good luck.
time. Yeah, well, it's turn a human to a robot.
Pretty big.
Yes, I need a lot of space.
Not a lot.
Cycling again, indoors.
Program tour.
I'll start. Merciful Fate, Don't Break the Oath.
Sabbath. Master of Reality.
The Great Cold Distance by Catatonia.
Find some time there.
Tim Megatherium, Celtic Frost.
The very best of ELO.
It's a good one.
It's pretty good. I mean, we tend not to think about it too much. A lot of it's, you know, we were also inspired by a lot of bands that I think changed metal a lot as well. You know, and then like the first wave of death metal bands, you know, they spawned a subgenre. So I mean, it's whatever sort of time you're born, and I don't know. It's we tend not to think about it too much. But yeah, a lot of our peers sort of use us, cite us as influences when they started, but they're usually a few years younger than we are, and it's the same as what we did with Celtic Frost and Candlemass.
We were influenced by a band called Trouble, and Trouble were like a band's band. They never really commercially made it. And we kind of turned into the new version of Trouble, where people we influenced became huge, and we kind of trundle along, you know. Yeah, I don't know, it feels alright, I suppose. It's a made up word, that's why.
It means something. It means crow or something.
No, a raven is a raven.
No, I know, but I thought it was like
And ghast is an oldie English word for ghost.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Or spirit.
Yeah, it was a ghost, a spirit. Yeah.
No, I just try and think of nice words for working titles when we're working on stuff. And some occasionally you keep some, and that was one of them.
Yeah, I liked it. Just thought it was a good word.
There might have been.
Everything's going 30, isn't it? I don't know really. I mean, what we're going to do? Get a stretch Lego and go to Leeds?
You'd be shook.
30 years.
It'd be sure, yeah.
30 years.
You did the same that did for my 50th. I didn't leave my front room.
No.
Didn't see anybody.
Well, mine was. I think mine's going to be the same.
Yeah, I mean the current situation sort of limits what you can do, but
Yeah, I mean it's you know it sort of reminds you about how old you are as well, which I don't necessarily like that, but you know.
Maybe we'll individually order a takeaway curry each to our separate homes and give a reflective thought
And bill it to
about the album.
Bill it to the office.
Yeah, we'll do a Zoom chat and accidentally stream it live, thinking no one can see it.
I'm going to play Falling Forever all day.
I wouldn't. But personally, I'd have to get to know them first, because if it's an artist that I actually respect as an artist, and then I meet him and he's a bit of a dickhead, then it would put me off him and his music. So it's about friendship for me. If I like them as a person, I'm more inclined to want to work with them than I would do just because I like the music. So that's a very adult sort of thing to do. But I don't think someone's brilliant just because their music's brilliant. You know, there's a lot of people who can be hard work. So it's about a friendship thing for me, personally.
I think it'd have to be something totally different as well, like Dead Can Dance, Lisa Gerrard or something like that. You know, somewhere where you can do something completely different to what we're doing, and otherwise I kind of don't see the point. You just end up with kind of watered down version of what you do anyway.
But like I said, and also like the chemistry's got to be right. Like I said, I mean, if you get on, then you're going to produce something that's a lot more natural. But if it's kind of an uphill battle, it's almost pointless, I think, in that respect. And that's why a lot of collaborations are not very good, in my opinion.
I've been thinking about it quite a lot actually, but it would have to be.
Not thinking about it. Do it.
No, I mean it would have to be like a proper setup in studio and with the multiple cameras to make sense. I don't want to have like a phone video of that, so it would have to be done like properly. But yeah, it will happen sooner or later. Yeah, definitely.
Well, because we come from sort of old school when vinyl was the thing, and we always used to like good album covers, you know. And that's kind of carried on throughout our career because we always like to see nice artwork. I know it's not as important now as it used to be, but for the whole album campaign, the posters you see, and all that sort of thing, you know, we always think about all that aspect of it. And it's purely from where we come from, you know, and our age, etc. But yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we've used a lot of really good artists actually. But it's not, I can't think of any names sticking out. But
most of the ones we've used over the last 15 years have been ones that we actually wanted to use because we loved their artwork.
Yeah.
On every record, and it just depends on each record what you want to portray, what you think the mood of the record is. So that'd go for the same for art. You know, it's you can have a different artist for different moods, and you know, if you try to portray something really bleak, then you go with an artist that does that kind of thing. And if you try to do something colourful or something more like what was the one that Tragic Idol, the guy did? Valnoir did some real geometric stuff. So it's all
yeah. A lot of the time the artists, they're not exactly designers, so they can do the pictures, but they don't do the design. So you've got to find someone who can do the design and the art. And if you can get both combined, then you've hit the jackpot. But that's quite hard to do, and there's a hell of a lot of emails good lord. Not this album, but the last one. There must have been hundreds and hundreds of like going backwards and forwards. We used to meet up individually. We used to meet up to talk about artwork, and it was a lot easier to get finished results when we did that. But now everything's done by email. And it takes forever to decide on things because it's such a subjective. It's more subjective than music, I think. You know. So, but yeah, you know, we've always got there eventually. So.
Not unless somebody tells us to do it, so we're not that interested in doing it, really. You know. No, we did that. We did the orchestra thing. We did the Plovdiv thing, which had a fairly full choir behind it.
Yeah. It looks great. You know, live.
It sounds good as well.
Yeah, when you do it, it looks great. And you know, if it's going to be a visual thing, then yeah, why not? But if it's just going to be on record and you're not ever going to do it, I don't see the point. I mean, you know.
It's just got to be a one-off event thing, and we've done it. So. Enjoying it is the key to it. I think you've got to enjoy what you do. Otherwise, you just move on and do something else. You know, it's kind of that in that respect. It's like any career. You know, if you're not really into it, then you kind of just go through the motions. So yeah, and constantly feeling inspired as well. Even by, you know, like, I mean, I still love all the stuff I used to listen to when I was a kid, but I'm constantly finding new music that I think, wow, that's really inventive and cool, and kind of spurs you on to continue doing stuff. You know.
It doesn't really change. It doesn't really change that much. You know, when we started the band, we're not that different. I mean, we've all got older and, you know, usual trappings of life and what have you. But I mean, it is quite a constant thing, and it doesn't really change that much. You know, so and I really like that. It's, you know, like I said ages ago. At no point have I thought, oh, I don't enjoy this. I mean, it's like anything, you know. You have days where you have good days and bad days, but ultimately, I wouldn't want to do anything else. I would really maybe be a pilot or something, but I can't see that.
I think that was half the problem. We didn't know. We were rudderless at the time, and that was half the problem. I mean, some of the problem was the label that we were on wanted to take us in a different direction because of the previous album, the album before that, Host. So they wanted us to do something different, and we didn't really know. So it kind of got remixed about 4 times without us even being there.
We were all in the studio individually as well. We were never together really at all. So it was like you say, confusing.
I mean, I think there's pretty good songs in there. It's just a little bit of a flat sound.
I think Gomez's remix sounds lovely.
Yeah, but it's like I said, people say, "Oh, you hate that." I mean, I don't hate it at all. It's got some good songs in it, but it's just
it's more the memory of the time and the compromises that were made. And
so, there's some great riffs and some songs on there.
I just remember being an Angel in London for about a month on my own, just going in the shops just to have someone to talk to. Just like, I've never had that since. It was just really weird, but it just didn't take forever to do it as well. If I've got something coming up, I start rehearsing 2 weeks before it. Yeah, I mean, I've just had months and months of nothing, so yeah, I can't just come out of the house and do a Tom Jones. I can't do Tom Jones anyway. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I've got at least 2 weeks. I like to kind of warm up for it, yeah. But when I'm on tour, it's every night you're singing anyway, so it's not like you've got to kind of do loads of all that stuff. Amps, I don't know, it depends what, but usually it's a producer at the time that...
Usually analog.
Yes.
Valve amps.
I mean, there was a period where producers were all trying, around 2000s and stuff, that different producers have different ideas of how things should be recorded. But on the whole, it's just, you just get... I mean, for the most part of our career, it's either been a Marshall or a Mesa Boogie or an Ampeg with a mic in front of it, you know, and that's it. And it's really down to how you capture it, because the mic and the room is as important as anything else. And guitar-wise, we've changed guitars a lot over the years, apart from Steve. We keep trying different things out, see what works. You know.
If it wasn't for Paradiselost, just imagine what you could be doing.
Probably the Elon Musk of Halifax. Something like that, you know. Try to fire my car into space.
I don't know really. That's quite... I never
Especially
really
when you've
think
been
about
doing
it.
it most of your life.
Yes, I'd be sending you into space.
Yeah. I'd be loving it. Floating around.
Yeah, he'd be loving it, yeah. You'd be sending Tesla going past Pluto.
Yeah, I don't know, it's a difficult question to answer really. Ask me again in 30 years. Ask me
As if you're going to be.
I know. Ask me after lockdown. A lager for me.
Lager.
Guinness.
Yeah, Guinness.
Stout.
Lager or Guinness.
Everything gives me indigestion, so.
Yeah, I have actually.
Called Abigail, probably.
Yeah, no, it's quite a good idea. I think it'd take a lot of work though, because to make it work, I think it'd have to be a really good story, and it'd have to be really thought about a lot, because it could be rubbish really easily. So I think it could work. If it depends what you did it about, and if it was subtle and yeah. Again, it's like writing a musical. You know, you got to think about it. I think.
It's got to be something you have a lot of knowledge of, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you know about? What's your favourite thing?
Lager and computers.
Building supercomputers. Superman 3.
Just trying to think what you really into.
Superman 3, the album.
A low percentage lager.
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, yeah. Yeah, no, it's yeah, like I say, it's easy to do it wrong. Jurassic Park concept album would be the...
You haven't even done one and we've already done it wrong.
Yeah.
It's
not-
the Yorkshire Rose. It's actually a Yorkshire Rose from the area we're from, the county of Yorkshire.
It's the emblem for Yorkshire. It's a white Yorkshire Rose. It's not the Judas flower. We put it in because the artist was also from Yorkshire, and he said, "Shall I put it in as a nice touch?" And we went, "Yeah, that's a good idea," because we never thought to use that before. So, yeah.
Ascending through fierce emotionless dreams of the grave. But there's one way street you're on. You'll never be fulfilled. But there's one way street you're on. Is gonna get you killed.
The room where we shot the live stream, that's where we actually used to rehearse for many, many years. Probably been at the mill since about 1998, perhaps. We started rehearsing at the mill. We actually started rehearsing over the road from the mill, which was part of the studio where we did the demos for the Draconian Times album. And that was around 1994, 1995. We were there for a couple of years. And then we went over the road to the mill that is now called the mill. And that was run by a guy called Ali. And he's been always there. We've been there ever since. The room where Pandora's box, I call it, the room where we keep all our equipment, is actually our rehearsal space. But I mean, we usually rehearse prior to a tour, or if we've done a new album and we need to rehearse a new album. It was a really big room. It was great, a lot of space in there. But there wasn't the internet, so we tended to meet up a lot more because we had no other way of rehearsing or meeting up or going through stuff, you know. But now, you know, via streaming and file sharing, you can do things a lot easier. You know. Obviously, the geography isn't brilliant for us. None of us live near each other, so we have to travel to rehearse. So we have to have allocated blocks for rehearsing. There was once a fire at the mill, and our rehearsal space is next door to where New Model Army, the band New Model Army, rehearse. And they've also been there for many, many years. And there was a raging fire, and it actually burnt their entire equipment. Everything went. They lost the whole lot. And but it just kind of didn't burn our room. There was just black on the walls where the fire and the smoke had gone, but it didn't actually penetrate the walls. So it was. So yeah, but it kind of gutted a lot of particularly the rooftops were all, you know, completely done out.
The image for the live stream was the building.
Yeah, that's why I chose it, yeah. And it made me kind of laugh, the fact how it was so small, and you imagine a band in there, it's on fire. There's an elevator in there that's been there since probably the late 40s or something, which is great because no one dare go in it to travel with the equipment, but I always go in it. But it does get trapped occasionally, and you have to shout. It is something it's like something from the Twilight Zone, but it still works, and it gets regular service as well. But it is very much like something off a film set, an old horror film set. But yeah, it's quite amusing. But it's funny because some people just will not get in it; they just don't. But it's all right. It's not that. It doesn't fall that far. Well, it's a sound check, isn't it, really, this?
Yeah.
The live stream, I mean, it's pretty much like what it used to be like with the Old Grey Whistle test when I was a kid, you know. I mean, that was like basically a band would turn up and perform a live, an hour's worth of a performance or something, and you just watch it late at night on TV, and it's the same thing. I mean, making it pay-per-view is just typical sign of the times, really, how it is now with the music business, you know. Doing it now, at this time, it's a decent enough, you know, stopgap way to get your music across. Going forward, I think once the live scene opens up again, I don't think there'll be a great deal of demand for it personally, particularly metal music, because it's just such a live-orientated music. You know, it's about playing live. It's about the audience. That's what metal music is about. Playing the tracks from, obviously, it was a bit nerve-wracking. I mean, generally speaking, when we write songs now, it's very much about playing it live. You know, years gone by, we wouldn't even consider playing it live until we got to that point. We thought, oh, hang on, this might not work. But I mean, we really think about that. So in that respect, it wasn't that hard playing them as a band. So we rehearsed them quite a few times prior to the when the cameras were rolling. We released the album in May, so it's kind of not too far back. The last show we did was in March. Yeah, it's. I guess the live stream sort of bridges the gap between playing live, but I mean, I think as far as playing live in general, everybody is in the same scenario. It's not like, you know, we're missing out on some gigs, or it's like you should be at school and you miss 2 weeks' work to catch up on. But it's about, you know, keeping up with what's going on around us. So I mean, it's the only way you can get your music across. It's the only medium, you know, you can't get on a stage now, so it's the only way to do it, really. I mean, everyone, everybody is paused. So it's almost, I think by the time everything's relatively back to normal, I think it's going to be pretty much like this year hasn't even happened, you know. I think we can kind of get back out there and act like we've just released the album, hopefully, you know. But it's just like, but like I said, it's the same for every single person, so it's not like it's just us, you know, so we're all going through it.
It's a battle as the years start to fade.
The old crew is fairly consistent with the Mill. The guys at Kindays, we kind of have 2 or 3 guys that kind of work with us pretty consistent in the last 15 years, you know, and they're friends as well, and you know, they're good guys, and they know what they've got to do. But yeah, it's always nice to have people that are friends that work with you as well, because it's like a big team, you know. It's like a big kind of stag night out. If you go away for a festival gig, you're kind of all together in the lobby bar getting hammered. So that's quite a nice thing. You do get cliquey with people doing this, and the longer you do it, the more you get like that, I think. But that's just the nature of the beast, I think. Yeah, I do tend to work out the set list, but everyone's got to be happy with it. I mean, obviously there's like tuning differences in certain songs, so it's, you know, if something's wildly different tuning to a different song, then it's going to take a bit of time to or different guitar or whatever. So it's make it so it's hopefully runs quite smoothly with the changeover process. And if there's like any intro on something, then someone can grab a drink of water, or so there's time to do things. And the Mill set list was pretty good. It was covered a lot of areas, and there was a couple of songs we haven't played for a very long time there. So for me, it's not a massive deal about what order they're in, but as far as choosing songs, it's more about just covering, you know, our vast, lengthy career really, because we've got a lot of stuff. And there's songs you can play again and again and again, and people just want to hear them, you know. And there's obscure songs that people want to hear, but then when you play it, kind of doesn't work, or there's a weird atmosphere in the audience. But you can never please everyone, you know. But yeah, I usually write out I'll write 40 songs, and I'll say, right, let's do, I don't know, 17 out of this or whatever, an hour and a half worth of songs from this. But it's about which songs work nice together, and like I said, occasionally it's nice to pull out a song we haven't played for a long time. You know, there's many songs that we could have toured to death, but it was so long ago, everyone probably forgotten about it or died since. So it's like, there's always something, you know, we've probably played in the past that we can just go, oh, hang on, right, I've never heard this before, you know. So it's, feedback to the live stream was great. I mean, I was, you know, I think I read every single comment, particularly on the Facebook page, which was, yeah, it was really positive. It was nice, you know, and it's just kind of, it's going to be nice to go out and play live, you know, off the back of those comments, because I think people really enjoy the album, and you know, it's going to be good to get out there and play them to actual human beings.